fear for my life, and I want the whole world to know, and I don't want you to come anywhere near me. And that is that she gets tired, and she asks if she can go to sleep in his hotel room, in his bed. And she invites him into the bed. And he declines.
Get out.
I'm getting... You're fucking Rashawn, you're doing me shit.
You are a leftover, fucking over-the-hill old stripper. That's all you'll ever be. In this industry, all you've done, I can't do. You're Courtney.
Yeah, I am.
Hi. I'd like to say hello to David and Paige and say that I love you, and I'm sorry this didn't work.
And he goes and sits in the living room, and this is the evidence he gave. And he puts his head in his hands, and he cries because he cannot understand how he's got to this position where his ex-wife, who is accusing him of all of this nonsense, all of this shit as he describes it, and she doesn't deny that, is lying in his bed. And that's, we say, such a powerful point in demonstrating that these allegations were untrue.
Vivi is and exists in a heightened state of reality, a suspended state of reality. She has her own rules, her own world that she exists in, and you get the sense that it's a world that she created. It's like she has a different set of rules than anyone and everyone else around her does. Different rules than us, different rules than most people. I mean, you meet her one day and she's got, you know, a black bob, and the next she's, you know, a platinum blonde wig, and she's shooting somebody in the head without blinking. She kind of is and exists in a different world, and I loved that about her. And part of telling that story is connecting it to a real person in some way. Even if she does exist in this way, it was important for me to also base her in the real world at least once, and then have a departure from it. It kind of, that's her job, and essentially you see her in her natural state, and then you see this kind of other world that she has to jump into, and she jumps in full force, and that's why you get the impression that she is the best at her job. It's because there is nothing else quite like her. So you feel like she's somehow fulfilling some this undescribed or this niche somewhere that people don't even know about. That's what you get the sense of, and I liked that. I wanted to fight for that.
In the very beginning of the movie, we see you as this young, fresh-faced agent in plain clothing and a ponytail pulled back, and then once the movie kicks into high gear, you are this femme fatale sort of character with red lipstick and these amazing wigs and costumes. And I was wondering, is this a character that she's playing?
First of all, you said wigs.
Yes, wigs on your bosom, yes.
And I had a great time doing that. I mean, but look, watch the movie. No one has more fun than Vivi. I loved reading this. I mean, I felt like if it was this fun to read, then it would be fun to watch. And I stand by the idea. I wanted to have the most fun with this that I could. I wanted to push the boundaries. I wanted to push the expectation, and I really wanted to have fun with it because I think that this character is one that really enjoys being really good at her job and really enjoys her job. She was made for this. So I think, I don't know, I kind of wanted to have the most fun, and I think I did.
Well, you seem to have like a personal kinship with her in a way, with this character. Like you can really relate to her in a sense.
I tend to always be attracted to or relate to the characters I play in one aspect, and that's they're unapologetically strong. They're empowered. They're not afraid to be whatever it is that they are. They do it.
Well, one last thing. I loved your repartee with Kevin in this movie. It was really natural and easy.
Thanks.
And talk about, I mean, you're working with a screen legend, and you come into this role, and you have to like create this easy dialogue and this sort of easy feel in your scenes, and it works really well. Can you talk about creating that with Kevin and working with him?
Well, part of it was the collaboration behind the camera. Luc Besson and Mick G both have had a long history of making strong female characters that they do not apologize for, and I felt protected in that sense because Vivi is the character that is that does not apologize for her sexuality, nor is she defined by it. And in front of the camera, I had another wonderful collaborator. Kevin Costner he's a true pro, and he's also a filmmaker. So it was interesting for me to work with. I'm not used to working with another actor that's also a director, and that did bring out a different element. It brought out a different respect to kind of the bigger picture. And the one thing that that we aimed to do in Vivi and Ethan's relationship is have them be worthy adversaries to one another. Mm-hmm. That is what compels them to and against and away from each other. And I mean, I don't know, hopefully we did that.
For breaking entertainment news and more, follow @HitFix on Twitter or visit hitfix.com.
Hi.
Hi, Amber. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for taking the time.
No, I'm happy to.
So let's talk about this character. When you started, researching Mira and then started trying to imagine your own interpretation of the character, what was that process like? Was it really just about researching and, reading as much as you can, or was it about finding a way into it personally and, finding a way to bring yourself to her?
Well, that's a good question. I think for me, honestly, the most of the battle was in getting familiar enough with the character to justify participating in the comic book world that I, up until that point, was kind of, admittedly a little ignorant to and unfamiliar with. It's not a world I'm familiar with. And I thought I had a vague sense or a vague understanding of what I could expect the representation of my character would be based on the vague understanding of the representation I had seen in women in that particular genre especially. And so I was pleasantly surprised when I read when I heard that she was an empowered superhero in her own right, when she was a badass, kick-ass, empowered woman with agency. And then I was even more pleasantly surprised when I read in the comic book that same sensibility echoed in just right out of the gate, right off the bat. She is rescuing this town and says something to someone who mistakenly asks if that was Aqua Woman, and she stops and she says, "No, I have my own name. I'm my own person. I have my own name. My name is Mira." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that to me was representative of the kind of character I wanted to play." And so from that point on, it was icing on the cake.
So in developing a relationship with Jason, I think your guys' chemistry and the humor that you bring and the rapport that you bring is such an integral part of the movie's joy. So what was that? Obviously, I think you guys have a very easy chemistry. But how did you develop that chemistry to begin with? How did you guys meet? How much did you guys improvise and play off each other in developing your characters together?
Well, I was lucky to have had time to get to know him when we did Justice League in London, and because even though my part was small in that, it required a lot of training. I was there for a long time, and so we got to know each other and we became friends. We hit it off instantly. Jason and I are very similar in certain ways. We like similar things, and we have a similar taste in music and artistic sensibilities, and we just get along great. And that's echoed, that same relationship is echoed in the playful banter and dynamic that you see them have in the movie. Mira and Aquaman are like, they're kind of, they have to earn each other's respect and love. And Jason and I, being as close as we are and friends and buddies, it was very easy. It's a very easy thing. I really lucked out on this co-star.
Do you feel that you have a different interpretation and maybe a different feeling towards the superhero world and being a superhero now that you have been? And what's your interpretation now?
Of course, I'm so excited to be Mira and play Mira and to be a part of Aquaman because it represents a new
take on, and it represents a newer generation, a newer demand, or rather a response to demand that I think we've had for a long time and it's just been largely ignored, to have a fuller, more nuanced, stronger, more complex, and more motivated representation of women in not only superhero movies, but in the entertainment industry as a whole. So I feel really, really proud to be part of it.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to the Mirror movie as well. So fingers crossed for
right? Sequel. Thank you.
Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday. I hope everyone is happy. Full hearts, full stomachs. Happy Thanksgiving.
The best. Goals. A beautiful concept. That one I'd say worth dying for. Who cares?
Out of here, get out of there and find these groups and register now. Please.
Your costume in the film is absolutely stunning. Why don't we take a look at it first and then talk about whether you were happy with this costume or not. I think we have a picture right here of you.
That's my actual face. I'm not even acting in the scene.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah,
face.
yeah. So what, I mean, was that obviously a very beautiful costume, very stunning costume, probably not the most comfortable thing.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I
give the upbringing condom I can do it. Of course it was everything.
Well, I'm wearing one now, but anyway. Stay ready.
You're not wearing heels and a push-up bra, though.
Well, that's at night. That's when I go out. But the other thing is,